Hello and welcome to livealittlehigher.com. I cannot believe it, but today we begin our fourth week in the series of the Parasha of the week. Today we begin with Toldot, and Toldot is the parasha in which Rivka conceives and gives birth to twin sons. It starts by saying that the children struggle inside her. She said, "If the pain of pregnancy is so much, why did I want to be like this?" She went to the yeshiva of Shem and Ever to ask God what was going to happen to her, because she couldn't understand. There was such a struggle inside of her that she didn't know what was going on. She thought the baby was a weird baby. And when she came to him, Shem said to her through divine inspiration, God said to her, "The ancestors of two esteemed individuals are in your womb. Furthermore, two kingdoms will separate from your innards, one to weakness, one to innocence. One kingdom will always become mightier than the other kingdom, for when one rises, the other falls. Their elder son will serve the younger son." So the term of her pregnancy was complete, and look, there were twins in her womb. And that's what explained the whole situation. Whenever she would walk through the yeshiva of Shem and Ever, the baby would be kicking and kicking, like wanting to go out and learn Torah. And then every time she would pass through the house of idol worship, the other baby would be kicking and kicking and kicking because he wanted to go to the house of idol worship. And there's a question that is asked: how can it be that two people like Isaac and Rivka, who were such holy individuals, would be able to produce two children, one who was extremely good and the other one was extremely bad? And one of the answers that the sages give us is because Abraham was Hesed, was kindness, was all kindness, and he also had a good son and a bad son. He had Ishmael and then Isaac. And here, Isaac was complete gevura, complete discipline, justice, very strict person. And because of that, he also had a wicked and a good son. Then we see Jacob. Furthermore, he'll have 12 children, which are all considered righteous. And this is because Jacob was a Tiferet. And Tiferet is beauty, harmony. It's actually the perfect balance between kindness and strictness. And that's why he had all his kids were kind and righteous. But let's go back to Esau and Jacob. And the Tanya, the Alter Rebbe, he explains in chapter 9 that inside of us we have two entities. We have an animal soul and we have a godly soul. And in the Tanya he explains that it's a small city with two kings. And these two kings are fighting all day. They're fighting between each other to see who's going to take control of the city. And it's either one or the other. There's no way that both of them can rule at the same time. If you look at it in your own life, in your personal life, you'll always feel that there's a dichotomy inside of you. There's a part of you that is spiritual, that is giving, that is humble, that wants to be connected to God, that wants to pray, wants to learn, wants to eat kosher, wants to keep Shabbat, wants to do mitzvahs. And then there's another part of you that it gives you laziness, doesn't allow you to wake up early so you can pray. Or when someone comes and asks tzedakah for you, you'll be able to think about it and come to terms that it's not worth giving money to this poor person, he doesn't deserve it. And we are all day fighting between these two forces, which are called the Neshama Elokit and Neshama Hamabit. So these two forces are actually represented inside of us, and we could call them our Esau and our Jacob. In the Torah, it's explained that these two people really lived in the world. Why were they fighting in the womb of their mother? It says, Rashi explains, they were fighting for being able to control the world. There was two worlds. There's the Olam Haba and the Olam Hazeh, the world of the material world and the spiritual world. And the firstborn was the one that was going to keep the spiritual world. And Esau was the firstborn. it's more, he was called Asaph because he was born complete. He looked like a man. He was hairy. He didn't look like a baby. He had teeth. He was red. And that's why that name was given to him. He was called Asaph. And Jacob was born like a baby. And the whole fight between them was Jacob wanted to be the firstborn. He wanted to be the one that would be able to have the world to come, the spiritual world. But Asaph is born first, and he's the one that is going to get that blessing from his father. And it says here that Isaac loved Asaph and Rivka loved Yaakov. So we see in the Torah that each one of the parents had like a preference for one of their kids. And we would think like a person like Isaac, why would he love Asaph? What did he see in him that made him love him and wanted to give him the blessing of the firstborn? And it's a lot of commentaries go and come around, but the truth is that he saw the potential in Asaph, even though Jacob was more pure and more saintly than Esau. Esau had the potential to be even more saintly and more pure than Jacob. If he would have been able to tap his potential and work on it and do teshuvah and become a holy person, he would have been extremely, extremely incredible compared to Jacob. But the problem here was that Esau didn't want the world to come. He didn't want the spiritual world. He wanted to have fun. He wanted to have many women. He wanted the money. He wanted the car. He wanted the party. He wanted to be part of the physical world. He was a murderer. He was a thief. And we see in the Torah that one day Yaakov is doing red lentils because it was the day that Abraham had passed away, and it's a custom in Jewish religion that the day of the mourning they give the mourners something round that has no hole to eat, because it's like there's no mouth, they can't say anything about him. And he was preparing these lentils for his father Isaac, and Esau comes. He was hunting. And it says that that day, the Midrash explains, he had killed the king Nimrod because he wanted his coat. And it says that that coat belonged actually to Adam Harishon, and he killed him because he wanted this coat, and he came and he was famished. And he says to his brother, pour down my throat those lentils. Like he wouldn't even sit and eat them like a human being. He just wanted to be fed and the lentils to be poured into his mouth. A very animalistic person. And at that moment, Yaakov had an insight, and he said, okay, I'll give you the lentils, but with a condition. You give me your birthright. And he sold his birthright to his brother. So we see here that Yaakov really wanted to be part of the world of God, to be a spiritual man. He wanted to bring godliness down to the world and elevate everything around us. And Esau, he just wanted to be an animalistic human being with no responsibilities and no effort whatsoever in his in what was given to him as a firstborn. And sadly, Isaac, he saw that if this boy would come down to his ways, he would have been an amazing person. He could have become an incredible person. And this lesson applies to all of us. The truth is that we have this Asaph, and we do have this Yaakov inside of us. Each one of us, we have a part of us that wants to be connected, that wants to be doing Torah, wants to be doing mitzvot, wants to be fulfilling the purpose for which we were created in this world. And there is a very dense part inside of us that's always pulling us back and is not allowing us to complete our purpose and our mission in this world. And what makes the difference between them is that you have to want it. If you don't want it, you're never gonna get it. But to begin with, you have to want it. And once you want it, Hashem will open the doors for you to be able to accomplish whatever you came to accomplish in this world with His help. So I finish here today. I wish you a blessed and holy week. and that you come in tune with these two parts of yourself, be aware of them, and every time you have an opportunity, every time Hashem is putting a test on you, see who's ruling inside of you. Take a check, take a look inside. Who is ruling inside your little city? And Shavua Tov. Live a little higher.